Hey, welcome back to my channel. I make weekly art tutorials, paint alongs and vlogs, and in this video I'm so excited to show you. I am basically going to do an art haul as well as take you into Jackson's. For those of you who don't know, Jackson's is an amazing art store based in the UK that has like a massive online shop. It is only recently that I discovered that they actually have like a physical store that you can walk into. And I asked you on my community poll if you'd like to see the inside. It was a resounding yes. And thus that is what we're doing today. As well as that, I obviously couldn't resist myself. I did do some shopping because they were having a paper sale as well. And I will show you everything that I bought at the end of the video. And I've timestamped everything. I've also got a 10% discount in the description. Oh, I'm so excited. Here it is, friend. Here is the inside of Jackson's. What do you think? Does it look like what you thought it would look like? Does it match up to the online shop that they have? To be perfectly honest, I went there and I was a bit shocked because compared to the other stores I had seen, it was just a lot smaller. Especially given how big their online store is and how much stuff they have on there. I honestly thought it would be like a giant warehouse where it was just like a nice, small, quaint art shop. As is now custom for me, I did end up staying there until closing, just looking at all the supplies that they had. I don't so much so have a system. I'm just pretty much led by like, I guess my heart, like the heart wants what the heart wants. I have been thinking about expanding my paint collection. So I was looking at the paints that they have. Although I'm not primarily, I haven't tried oil and I don't use acrylic as much as my other mediums. I'm always curious to see whether they have something there that I may enjoy, whether there are any deals or any sales or any colors that I haven't seen before, any new materials at all that I would like to experiment with. So I literally go at every single nook and cranny of the art shop I will look at. Once I've done that, I will go to usually what I wanted to see, which is the watercolors and the gouache. So as you know from my CAS art haul, I do have some expensive watercolors that I haven't yet used, but I thought this would be a nice opportunity to look to see if they have any more colors. I also discovered these Daniel Smith curated sets that they have, so I was looking to see what colors they have in there and whether it would be worth getting one of those special sets to complement the colors that I already have. And I also discovered dot cards, which is essentially like sample dots of expensive paint. If you're enjoying the video so far and you want to see more, then don't forget to hit the like button and to also subscribe, as it massively helps out my channel and it means that you don't miss out on anything. If you see something you like or you want to see even more art supplies, then don't forget to check out the Jackson's website and I'll link it down below, and if you use that link and it's your first time, then you get 10% off. Kind of wanted to expand my Cotman set as well for my travel set, because at the moment I'm taking the pans out of my studio set to then carry them around and going back and forth. And for that reason I was also looking at the palette that's £5.50, because I thought it might actually be nice to use as a mixing palette as opposed to actually adding paints to them. I was looking at the porcelain palettes just in case they had like one that I wanted, and I tend to want like large ones with large mixing spaces and not that many wells, so unfortunately they didn't have that. They had like this iris collection, I believe that it's called, and it's so expensive. It's so expensive, but I was just like looking at them like because they're bright and shiny and they look so pretty. I also keep seeing these black wing pencils in all the art stores that I've been to. If someone knows what's so good about them, do you mind letting me know down below in the comments? Because yeah, they seem to be really popular and I'm not sure why, just in case I'm missing something. There were fancy brushes such as the Da Vinci brushes, which have a very popular reputation, and I couldn't help myself to just try and like lift it. This one was not only massive but very weighted, but obviously I can't like try them out to see how they handle watercolor. There were Schmincke sets there, as well as the smaller curated sets, the Kuretake Kansai Tanbei paints, which were so adorable, but obviously I have the bigger set, so I didn't buy this either. And then I went to paper, which you guys know I absolutely love paper, and Jackson's were also having a paper sale, so I thought that this would be a great opportunity to, I guess, stock up on the sketchbooks that I wanted, plus or minus rolls or anything else. I really want to try the Stillman and Byrne Beta and Delta series. They are essentially the ones that you can use with wet media, but I couldn't find any there, and they were also sold out online, unfortunately. And I did find the Hymemula. I'm sorry, I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. And I quite like the texture of that paper, which I'd never felt before. Like I only saw it online on Amazon and Jackson's. But now that I know that I like that paper, the next time that I see the portrait version on sale or available, then I might get that, because it's still cold pressed, but it's not as textured as other papers. And now I'm just showing you the rest of the shop. So as much as I loved it and as nice as it was to walk in there and to just relax, and with all the supplies that I could see, there weren't actually that many supplies that I wanted in store. Most of the things that I wanted were actually online, so I ended up having to actually buy the majority of my haul online. That being said, it's still nice to go in store, but I'm hoping that at least by doing this walkthrough and showing you the inside and some of the items that they have, you can have a better idea as to whether, you know, going in store is better for you or whether you'd like to buy the items online instead. They did have like an array of different supplies, such as those who want to do like clay, those who use inks, those who use markers, as well as like empty markers that you can fill in with your own paints. So I literally spent so long. I had such a good time, and then it was time to go home. This catalogue actually has printed swatches of all the watercolor and gouache available through Jackson's, as well as the pigment information, so it's super handy if you see it. This week for Black History Month, I am doing a collaboration with Archer and Olive, which I am so excited about, and it's essentially 5 art prompts based on powerful words from amazing Black women throughout history. Whether you want to join in by painting, drawing or lettering, it is all very much welcome and appreciated. Head over to Instagram to take part and to get more information. These first 2 items are not part of a haul per se, but they are actually kind gifts from an amazing dear friend and also subscriber, MP. She knows that I am about to have a birthday in a few weeks and thus decided to treat me to this amazing set. I have done a previous review on the 45 pan set, which this set also has all my favorite colors from that set, so that's amazing. And in addition to that, this set also has 2 professional watercolor paints. To complement that, she's also given me a postcard set that I can then use so that we can become pen pals. Thank you so much for your friendship and for your gift. I really appreciate it. My birthday's in 2 weeks and I'm going to try and reach 1,000 subscribers by then. So obviously any and all support to reach that will be very much appreciated. Okay, so let's see what I actually ended up getting in the end. And there was like a glitch on the Jackson system, so it actually took a week to arrive, even though I arranged for next day delivery. So I've kind of forgotten some of the things that I've got. So first things first, I decided to get this, which is the Schmincke Horadam dot card. Let me open it for you. So at some point I do believe I will get Schmincke, but I thought that initially a good way to have an idea of what colours I want would be to get a dot card. I do think it's a bit ingenious, and it did make me think, I wonder why we don't do it more often, like, you know, send dots of cards to each other or just have a look at the dot cards. So here it is, a piece of vellum to keep them nice and safe, and look at that. That's so nice, and I'm going to swatch them out for probably a separate video. If you're interested in seeing that, then let me know. And then when the time comes, should I want to expand to Schmincke or have like a Schmincke palette, I'll know pretty much exactly which colors I want to get, rather than just buying a set randomly and hoping for the best. So you get a decent amount of dots, certainly not enough to create much art with it, but enough to kind of swatch and maybe do a tiny piece. The only other thing is the Lancer Ochre. I don't know what happened to it, but it's basically, there's next to nothing there. It's kind of all chipped away, which is a bit of a shame. So hopefully it will reactivate and act as it should anyway. So these are the colors. I'm actually quite excited about this, the Cobalt Turquoise. That looks really nice. So yes, I'm going to do that as a separate video, but it just occurred to me that this would be a good way to see all the colors, or the majority of the colors in the range, and then be able to pick the colors that I like most. None of them are the granulating ones though. Next, it's this one. Wonder what this is. Oh, Okay, maybe that's why it seems like less. They group things together. As well as the Schmincke dot cards, I also decided to get the Daniel Smith swatch card, and I went a bit OTT and got the 238 colours to try. Some instructions: wet the brush, apply the wet brush onto the watercolour dots and put the brush with paint to paper and see the beautiful colour yourself. So yeah, I must say they're not generous. They're not that generous in comparison. Like, I think this will literally just about be enough for swatching and nothing more. I don't even know if I'll be able to swatch on a separate piece of paper or if it's going to have to be on this paper that they've provided. But again, the thought was the same. I already have some Daniel Smith colours, but just in terms of expanding my palette later on, this may be a better way or an easier way to know which of the colours I actually want, and whether it's worth getting some of the sets that they have here, or whether it would be more cost effective for me to actually just buy the tubes that I want. It will still achieve the aim, and that's the key thing. On the back, they have names of other artists who use Daniel Smith and some recommendations, as well as some other products that they have. For those of you who are interested, they do also have 32 out of the 36 Primatech colours included in this swatch set as well. So if you wanted to get experience with that, you could. Yeah, I mean, some of them is a bit disappointing. So for example, the Viridian, there's next to nothing there. Same with the Cellulite Genuine. I think this was £25, and if I'm able, or just over £25, if I'm able to swatch out the colours, all of them, and get a good idea of them, and maybe even use a little bit for something else, then I think it's £25 well spent. If I'm not able to get an accurate representation of the colours, then I think it's a bit of a waste of money. But we will discover that together, and if it is, then I guess I will let you know, and you'll know for future just not to buy this set. But if it is good, then you will know. It seems like a samples haul, and it's just because I want to know, like, I want to get a better idea of which things I should invest in. So I got 3 Canson papers. These are the 2 Canson Heritage papers, which I believe are 100% cotton, and then this is like a cheaper version of the Canson paper. I got this for 4p and these two for 42p instead of 50. But in theory, on the back of them, I'll be able to get a good idea of the quality of the paper, whether this is, you know, the type of paper that I want to be using instead of the Arches and the Winsor & Newton, or whether I should stick with the Arches and Winsor & Newton. You can immediately tell that it's cheaper, if anything, looking at the texture of the paper. But that being said, I'll still give it a try and see how that goes. So this is the St. Cuthbert's Mills papers, and they have like lots of different types: the Saunders, the Bockingford and the Milford, all 300 GSM. They have cold press, hot press and rough. They're 100% cotton. They're meant to be good for mixed media. I'll probably use one set for swatching and the other set for actually doing a complete piece, so that I can get a better idea as to whether I like the paper. Now, what else did we get? Oh, more paper. This is a Jackson's watercolor block, and it's again very affordable. And I've mentioned in a previous video that I'm just so curious to know, you know, what's the quality of the Jackson's materials? Like, are they actually good, like professional quality? Are they a bit more intermediate? So I just wanted to know how good they were, and I thought that this tiny block of paper would be a good way to start that. Perhaps I'll do a series where we complete this entire block, but I decided to get hot pressed because I want to try and do some more gouache. So this is 15 sheets of hot press paper, 10 by 12 centimeters and 300 GSM. And because it's a block, it's glued on all 4 sides, and there's just a tiny bit here where you can pull it off. There is something nice about actually like having a block as opposed to a sketchbook sometimes when you're painting on the go, because you don't have to worry about clipping the sides or it drying flat. Not gonna lie, I don't really remember what this is. Oh, that's cute. So I got some Liquitex gouache because I wanted to experiment with acrylic gouache, and this leads on nicely to what I believe is the last item. Let's see. A lot of you who I've been chatting with in my comments will know that I have been umming and ahhing about getting Turner gouache for the longest time. Jackson's has sent me like 5 or 6 emails telling me, like, you know, we've saved your item in your basket, because I just kept it there and kept wondering, should I get it, should I not? This is the Turner acrylic gouache. It's a set of 12 colors. Okay, the reason I was umming and ahhing is because it's £40 for a set of 12, which kind of feels a bit expensive. And I was just wondering whether I should get the Holbein acrylic wash instead of getting the Turner acrylic wash. But from the reviews that I'd seen, quite a few people mentioned that the Turner wash takes a bit longer to dry, which gives you a bit more working time. And also was cheaper than the Holbein, as well as the fact that the Holbein has been sold out for the past month. So the entire time that I was waiting, whether, debating whether I should get this or not, the Holbein never actually came back. I've asked you guys as well, and thank you so much for helping me with the decision, which type of acrylic wash I should get. And quite a few people mentioned that this is a good affordable set and, lower barrier to entry to trying it. So eventually I decided to actually get the Turner wash because I'd heard good things about it. And if you don't know, the fact that it's acrylic wash basically means that once it's dry, it dries matte, but also it can't be reactivated. Whereas with traditional wash, you can kind of reactivate the layers underneath if you want to, or if you start overdoing it with water. So in theory, this is like a good thing to have on the background or just as a piece on its own. So yeah, I finally bit the bullet and I finally got them, and I'm really excited to actually try them out. I love the colours. They dried absolutely beautifully, nice and bright, nice and matte as they should. I tried to reactivate them and I couldn't. I tried to blend them and they blended nicely. So first impressions are really positive. The names are things like permanent red, permanent yellow, permanent blah blah blah. So there's no like pigment information or anything like that as there would be with watercolour. But first impressions are really, really, really positive about the Turner wash, and I'm so excited to see what paintings I will create with this. There is a bonus bit at the end about basically my buyer's remorse or my thoughts on the entire haul. So if you want to watch that, then you are more than welcome to do so. But if you've made it this far into the video, then you are a real MVP, and I truly, truly appreciate you. Let me know that you made it this far by telling me what your favorite item from this haul was, and whether you have any items at the moment in your wish list that you are about to treat yourself to. If you're looking for more inspiration and more hauls, then check out this playlist. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye. So I'm still a bit unsure as to whether I should have this section of the video, but I kind of feel like if I was watching someone do a haul and they felt this way about a product, I would rather they tell me rather than acting like everything was completely fine and then I buy it and actually find out that it's not that great. So I had two issues. The first one being with the Daniel Smith dot cards, as I've kind of alluded to already. Some of the colours just don't have like dots, they just have a dry brush stroke. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be enough to get good swatches out of them. Certainly it won't be enough to mix or to do a separate painting with them, and it may be that they say that's not the purpose of the dot cards, and perhaps that's the case, but when comparing them directly, for example, to the Schmincke, you just get a lot less, especially even when you compare it to some of the other colours in the Daniel Smith, you just tend to get a lot less for some of the colours. So I am a bit disappointed with that, but I'll see how it goes. And the other thing was the Canson paper that I got. For some unknown reason, they weren't protected, which means that they kind of got scuff marks across them, which I think will probably defeat the purpose of actually getting the sample paper, because that could affect the quality of the paper, and to what extent I'll find out when I do that video. But yeah, irrespective of that, I am still so glad about everything else that I have bought, and I am still so happy that I did this haul, but I just felt that I should be honest and share that opinion with you. So yeah, let me know your experiences with dot cards if you've tried them before. Is that something that you would recommend, or is it just better to go ahead and buy the tubes? I am really interested in seeing what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.